to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 187 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your co-host, Luke Millette, and here is your host, Jim Chester.
So today we have the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Michael Hecker, and if you want to know more about the zones and how to set people free, stay tuned. We are live here with Dr. Michael Hecker, and you're coming in from the beautiful state of Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
And we are coming in here from Grand Junction, and this is episode 187 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast, and we'd like to welcome you on as our guest today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really I appreciate it. Really, I was looking, I'll watch, as many kind of podcasts as I can, and a lot of what you do, and you've had some big hitters on here. Really big names, it's like obviously my mentor, Dr. Pete, but you've also had like Grant Cardone, if I remember correctly, and Dr. Joel Merlot, and like all these different names, like Josh Wagner I just saw. There's so many different names, so I'm blessed to be here.
I've been seeing you pop up in my newsfeed for a while, and I was like, man, this guy is very charismatic. I know he's doing great work with Zone, and Dr. Pete's an amazing mentor, and he's supported us for a long time. So it's really cool to, finally connect with you and to bring you on to the show. And it's going to be fun to have people hear your story. You went to life. How long have you been out in practice now?
I graduated in the end of 15, so 16. So I've been 4 to 5 years I've been practicing now.
Okay. Well, that's cool, man. And a little known fact about you that I didn't know, that when I read your bio, you're a boxer.
Yeah, I did that for a little bit. I really tried to do like a little bit of everything, and that's led me down some really interesting, unique paths. So I did boxing for about a year or two.
Nice,
still
man.
Pretty good,
Still looking good, brother.
I did okay. I'm a healer now.
So chiropractic, I don't know your story, so I'm sure a lot of people out there are interested. This is most people's favorite segments of our shows, by the way, is when people tell their chiropractic story. So if you would tell your chiropractic story and let people know out there kind of what inspired you to become a chiropractor and maybe what makes you unique in the chiropractic space.
Okay, cool. So let's see here. So my uncle's a chiropractor, and the biggest influence that specifically had was it made me aware of the profession. I went to him for a couple different injuries I had, and he always whipped me back into shape, and it felt great. But I'll have to really say it was my grandfather that got me in here, got me into chiropractic, because, and I'll give the truncated version of the story, but so my grandfather, he was always my role model. And he was, just kind of like the guy he was, he's a grandfather, right? So he grew up in the Great Depression-ish era. So things were tight. So when he was growing up, he had two options: become a teacher or become a plumber. So teacher would be a little easier, less pay. Plumbers get paid a little bit more, but harder conditions. So he chose plumber. And, with that came, poor conditions and probably a lot of asbestos in a lot of places that he was going. So he ended up developing some health issues. So the way I remember it from my own perspective as a kid and then growing up was, he had some blood in his urine. And so he went into the doctor and they said, hey, we got some cancerous cells, but don't worry, we're just going to zap it. And then, we'll do periodic checkups and then we'll see how it is. If, you come back and it's there, we'll zap it again. And so that's what he did for, a couple of years or however long that period of time was. And then at some point in time, he goes back again for his another checkup, and he's got stage 4 cancer. It's in his lungs, it's in his bladder, it's in his bone, it's everywhere. And, the old school guys, the Great Depression era guys, the old Italian guys, just rough and tough. And not like me so much. And when I heard him say, he's like, nobody should be in this kind of pain. Like that hit me deep, And so, stage 4, we know how that ended up, right? And thankfully he ended up passing because he was in so much pain. But I remember asking my mom, like only the way a little kid can ask, Mom, I thought they were zapping it. What happened? And, she said whatever she said, but how that influenced me was, I was like, well, okay. As my little kid mind was working, I said, okay, he's going to see the doctor. They knew what was going on. They had to wait for it to show up before they could zap it. I was like, but what about everything in the middle? Here's where you've got something, then there's the therapy, and then there's nothing. So it's like, what about this area, this like gray area where you're not totally healthy, but maybe you don't have a technical disease or something, right? So I looked at that. I was like, all right, how can I help in that area? And then this chiropractic kind of entered into that space and filled that void. And it's been a wrap ever since.
So do you have any favorite motivational quotes or words of wisdom that keep you inspired every day?
Thousands. I got a lot of books back there. And, I was thinking about this, and there's a lot that impact me. But I think one of the most impactful ones was I heard somebody say, have you earned the right to speak on what you're about to speak on? And that hit me because I want to help. And I'm a natural talker, and I just want to help and talk. But there's times that I'd be speaking on things that I really didn't earn the right to speak on. And so I really try to keep that in mind, be like, do I know? Do I think, is this a theory? Is this a fact? Is this opinion? What is this? And present it that way.
Yeah, listening to your message about your origin story of becoming a chiropractor and watching your grandpa and, the story around that, like there's something really special about that too, because I know chiropractors, they think that the body's meant to be healthy. It's not meant to be sick. And if you can keep people in a state of health, then their quality of life is better before they have to get zapped. And, I think so many people out there, they come into it and they're like, man, I want to go to the chiropractor because I'm in pain. Well, I think the big message out there is to get people into the chiropractor before they hit that cycle of pain, to where they know that chiropractic is about boosting the immune system. I know that's taboo in 2020, but when people get adjusted, it does affect their immune system. And it does affect their nervous system. It does affect their organ system. And as you know, being a zonie, there's all those zones that when people get adjusted, you're going to find the check, you're going to adjust, and you're going to find out what you clear out. And I think that's what really makes you unique in the chiropractic space, is you understand the natural stance of healing for where people's they're out of balance. Maybe explain to people a little bit about the zones and how you help clear people.
Yeah, so the zones. So before the zones, I felt like I was pretty good. Like I felt like I was good. Now everybody should probably feel that way, but I was like, I'm better than most. But then I got into the zones. I met Dr. Pete and I started to understand, and he expanded on things and also went a lot deeper. And it was there, early, like not like if I compare myself from before to now, it's a night and day difference. Night and day difference. Like before I was confident and now I'm certain. Being able to bring that is a completely different thing. I don't care about confidence anymore. I can be scared. But like if I'm certain, like that's what's going to happen one way or another. We're going to find the answer. I don't care if I'm the answer or not. Now, far majority of people I'm able to help. By far majority of the people, it feels like 99% of people I'm helping to a significant or total degree. Now, I'm sure, there's some people that fall through and we have to send them different places wherever they need to go. But the zones have helped give me that confidence or that certainty. But that certainty comes from results, nothing else. All right. So the zones allowed me to take somebody in as they are, usually pain-based, and then very easily help them to understand why they have pain and how other things are going to be connected to this. I'd say, okay, so you're in pain, but are you also noticing this, and this? And they're like, yeah, how did you know? Then I'll be like, well, let me explain. Number one, I'm psychic. Then I'll judge. No, I'm not psychic. It's just the system lets me know exactly what's going on in your body. And I was like, you see, like you didn't tell me. I was able to predict, and you can see like how well the system works. And then we just kind of follow through the I don't want to say process, but we just go through the process, and they get better.
Well, I know a lot of people probably right now are sitting like on the edge of their seat like this, and there's like, would Michael just tell us what the zones are? So people that are out there that know nothing about like the zone technique can understand what you're checking for.
Yes. So with the zone technique through Dr. Pete is we understand that the body is broken up into 6 main body systems. So we have one body system is a glandular system, all the glands and the hormones. And we know that affects sleep and mood and anxiety and fertility and really like every process in the body. Right. So we have the hormones and the glands in the body. Then we have the eliminative system. This is every part of your body that gets all the toxins, waste material, poisons, inflammation, all that stuff out of the body. Right. Then we have the nervous system zone. Now, with the nervous system zone, it's all about helping the body to calm down, being able to get out of chronic stress mode. Because, I was looking at some data the other day, and they say is at least 90% of all visits to a physician's office, any kind of doctor, is due to, at its core, they said it's a stress-related illness. So if we can bring that nervous system down back into that parasympathetic mode, that healing, digesting, resting mode, then the person can finally be able to heal. Then we have the digestive system, being able to break the food down, absorb the nutrition, get all that stuff, whatever you don't need out. We have the muscle system and then circulatory system, all that fluid flow throughout the body. So every cell in your body is going to be in one of those systems. So if those systems are out of balance, you're going to have some problems. Like you're going to have some symptoms, whether it's pain, whether it's sinus congestion, whether it's IBS, whether it's acid reflux, whether it's cold hands and feet, whatever it is. But when we can balance it, then the body can finally begin to be able to heal it again.
So let me ask you, do you enjoy the adjustment a lot more when you realize that it's very specific to each segment that you're, I don't know, like say somebody has a circulatory issue and you're like, yes, I know I'm going to be able to bring this person's life back to more balance, and your adjustment is that much more pure and delivered that much like, I don't know. I'm not a chiropractor, so I don't know what it feels like to adjust somebody, but I could only imagine if you check this and somebody's like, yeah, it's that one. And like you adjust them, and you're like, yeah, I just did that. And you know that what you're doing has so, like you said, it's the certainty behind it. Like
I would say my favorite thing along that line is when they tell me, hey, let me try to think of a good one. Let's say somebody says, okay, I have acid reflux. I'm constipated. I can't eat, fatty foods. And let's say I have like some skin issues. So, okay. Now in my head, I'm thinking, okay, could be a couple different zones. First off, I don't have to guess. The body's going to tell me. But as I'm walking over to the table, I'm like, I bet it could be this one, this one. So in my head, I'm thinking maybe eliminative zone, maybe digestive zone. But in my head, I'm thinking digestive zone because IBS, digestion, connected to the digestive zone, some elimination stuff. We know skin is very closely connected to the gut. So I walk over there and I say, okay, I'm going to feel 6 points in the back of the head. That's going to let me know exactly what's going on in those body systems. And so I'm going along, I push on zone 4, which is digestive system. And they're like, oh, that one's tender. I'm like, zone 4. They're like, yep, tender. So I say is, question, what zone do you think it is? And they're like, is it digestive? I'm like, yep. So when they can see that just perfectly match up, now they're excited. Now I'm having fun at this point because they know, like, I know I can help. They know I can help. Now it's just about going through that process. And it can actually be like people come in for very serious things, but it doesn't mean that the healing process has to be serious. Actually, I would say it's almost more important to lighten the mood in those cases.
And I bet you're having a lot more fun when you can connect the dots with the person you're taking care of, the certainty in your mind, and then deliver the goods.
It's a blast. I love it. I have so much more fun. It's so much less stress. And like, I can look at someone across the room and I can look them in the eyes, and to be able to like authentically say, I can help you. That's huge. That's huge for them. It's huge for me. Like, such a blessing.
Do you ever find that there's one zone in particular that usually needs more attention than the other four?
Yeah, so there's a couple thoughts on this. So yes. So first off is I do see that, but I don't really pay any mind to it. Whatever the body needs, it's going to tell me, I'm going to do it. They're going to get better. And that's that. But just, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, all right, I'll see trends. Like for the day, it'll seem like everybody is digestive zone or muscle zone or whatever, and then sometimes I ask myself, is it me? Like, what is this commonality? Why are so many people coming in with the same thing? I don't have an answer. I know how to fix it, but I don't know why that process happens. But I do see it for sure.
That's interesting. So how do you think the world would change if everyone started getting under consistent care instead of the percentage it's seeing today?
Well, the world would improve because people would be more out of pain. People would be healthier. But I think what's really important involved in that question is how we show, like, let's say we have everyone in the world comes to a chiropractor. Okay, we need to tighten up certain things in chiropractic. I don't know what those are. I'm not, educated in that really. I can have some opinions on it, but overall, I think I'm going to be biased here. But if everyone could be trained in like the understanding of the zone technique, and maybe not even just the physical aspect, but like the understanding, like the deep philosophy understanding will help guide all of our actions. And I think that's most important. I would love for the whole world to come to us. But I think once we can get in a little bit more alignment ourselves, I think things would improve. But by and large, I mean, that Blue Cross Blue Shield study that said like people who saw chiropractors as their primary care physician, pharmaceutical costs went down by like 85%, outpatient surgeries reduced by 60%, and there's a couple other factors in there. So without a doubt, the nation would be healthier and would have more money in their pocket.
The outcome is the most important part of chiropractic. And when you're talking with a certainty that you know that you can help people with, the outcome should be the most important part to every household. And the confusion around it is because the people that are in favor of that chiropractic not working want everyone to be confused that chiropractic is some mysterious profession. And that's really where we need to take the power back. And we need to, like you said, you might not be the most knowledgeable on the topic, but we need to get people to understand that chiropractic is a life-giving profession, and it removes people from pain and suffering. And we need to realign the profession back to those tenets and cut the confusion out about what it is and where it isn't. But what it is the adjustment makes people feel better. And I was talking to people this past weekend. I've been working in the profession for 11 years now. I talked to some people over the weekend, and they was like, well, how'd you get into chiropractic, Jim? I'm like, well, my friend asked me if I would help him work in a chiropractic office. And I said to him, I don't know anything about chiropractic except for the fact that it makes me feel better when I get adjusted.
Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. Like, I think you hit it. You said it's like the result, the end. Like, I went to a chiropractor and I am better for it. And I think if we keep the result is they came to my office, whatever I did, they're better. And I think as our results continue to get better and more consistent, then a lot of these details are going to figure themselves out. If we're so damn good that nothing else can touch us, everything else is details. Like, everything will work out the way it needs to.
You can manipulate the world, but you can't deny the truth.
Yes. So I think my like the Winston Churchill quote, they say the truth is incontrovertible, Malice may attack it. Ignorance may deride it. But in the end, there it is.
And that's just it, is we have to continue this process of telling the truth. And that's why Chiro Hustle exists, so we can be the megaphone for the profession. And I really believe that there's this, I'm sure you've heard, and everybody watching this has heard this or listening to this, heard this, is that how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I don't know anybody that's ever eaten an elephant, but the analogy's there. And right. I believe, how do you tell the message of chiropractic? One story at a time. And that's really why, people are getting turned on to the truth of chiropractic, is because we release one story at a time. And today it's your story. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really important. And, being able to weave you into the narrative of our show makes people understand that it's not about us. It's never been about us. Luke's a filmmaker. I'm a journalist. But we found that there was truth in chiropractic. And that's really what's going to set people free, is when they catch the tone of what we're doing, they're going to say, yeah, those dudes are righteous. Those guys are really producing. They're really putting out content, and they're bringing on charismatic leaders in a profession that might have only been out of school 4 to 5 years, but your voice matters now more than ever.
Yes. That's the biggest thing. I think it was Grant Cardone that said the biggest problem for any small business is obscurity. We just need to get out in front of more people. They need to see what we have, try what we got, understand that, what we do, why we do it, and the results that we expect.
Chiropractic just needs to come the best known. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to healing arts, the line is short. It's chiropractic. And I really believe, as the chiropractic profession, like you said, the Rolodex has to be there for who you can have as a trusted resource. But you also have to understand that chiropractic first, chiropractic second, chiropractic third, chiropractic fourth, chiropractic fifth. And if chiropractic at 5 times isn't the answer, then you have to go to chiropractic and acupuncture, chiropractic and massage, chiropractic and dietary regulations. And then you can use your decisive mind and say, maybe chiropractic and joint care with an MD, maybe chiropractic and joint care with a physiotherapist. And then, we get the outcome that we're looking for. But I say everybody try 5 times chiropractic. And if that doesn't work, then you might want to think about how to get somebody to co-manage a case. Yeah,
why not? We use that same logic with a lot of other things. Oh, this pill didn't work? Okay, let me try another one. This pill didn't work? Let me try another one. You're still trying the pills. You still have that same belief. You don't lose any faith in the idea of supplements or medications or pharmaceuticals. But that's, they look at that. So why not continue that same logic? Okay, this chiropractor wasn't it, but there's other chiropractors, different ways, different people that do this. And so you try this one, try that. Find one that works. What are we talking about here is results. Whoever can give that, go there, get better. That's what we all want. So if it doesn't work for me, go to somebody else. Let's get you an answer. I don't need it to be about me. Let's get you better.
And I learned that from Eric Plasker. So all credit goes to Eric Plasker, the 100-year lifestyle. That guy is a genius. He taught me that lineage of chiropractic first on down. And then, chiropractors also, you guys take the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm and to put patients first. And I think that that's something also that people in the public really don't understand, that there's protecting the sacred trust, there's the Hippocratic Oath, there's science, philosophy, and art. And there's all these different divisions, what makes chiropractic this healing art. And the general public doesn't know this. They think that you guys are like auto accident specialists. And I think that that's what we need to do, is start letting people know that chiropractic is a standalone profession that can help people. And it's not a medical profession. It's a healing art. It's a healing profession. And medical is the derivative of medicine. And there's no medicine in chiropractic.
Yeah.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
You know, the way I kind of look at it is like, wherever you got to go, you can get better. But it's like, why not do chiropractic? Like, if I have 3-4 different symptoms, you could take 3 or 4 different pills. Or this scenario, somebody comes to see Dr. Mike, for example, or whoever, and they come in with, constipation, allergies, asthma issues. And then you say, all right, it looks like 5 different issues, but it's really just your limited systems off. I'm going to reset your limited system. Those areas are going to function properly, and then they can heal and continue to function properly. Do you want 1 or do you want 5? Let's fix it.
The doctor of the future is the doctor of the present.
Ooh, I like that.
So where do you see chiropractic heading in the next 20 years?
It depends. It depends if we step up. It depends if we get in front of the people and we start to continue to push it. I want to do what I can to make Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm at, to be aware that chiropractic does much more than pain. Yes, we're amazing with headaches, back pain, but you know what else we can do? Anything, as long as you don't need stitches, you're not bleeding or something, come on in, because we might be able to help you, right? I think that's the thing is, when we can continue to deliver that broadening message, continuing to get out there with Chiro Hustles, with whatever each of our individual practices are doing, and just get out there. I don't think we have to do anything fancy. Just get more known and keep on delivering amazing results, getting people off of medications, getting people away from, every day, like, I'm supposed to be in pain, right? No, you're not. And let's just keep on doing that message, keep on pushing, doing the work, getting the results, and the results have to follow. The following has to follow.
What are some of your favorite ways to push the message out and to get people in your doors? What are some of your favorite marketing strategies?
Word of mouth is great because, it gives the most on fire people, but word of mouth is slow too if you don't have that initial base. So my personal thing is, I like to teach, I like to talk. So my personal favorite way is like doing different, talks and different little workshops and different things. I just get excited because I like to teach and I like to help and I like to talk. And that's a perfect venue for me. We can't poo-poo Facebook or any social media site because that's where people's attention are. That's where it is. And so we just need to put our attention where their attention is. We need to put our, my clinic, Chiro Hustle, we need to get that out to the people that way. So, because I know some people have ideas of Facebook ads don't work and this and that. Well, yes, they do. Somebody says that, my response is, planes fly. But they only fly if you know the rules and you follow the laws and, you work with it rather than against it. Same thing. We just got to tighten things up. Wherever the attention is, let's put ourselves there in front of the people and show them what we got.
Yeah, it's all about rhythm and timing.
Yes.
I really believe that marketing is rhythm and timing. And I really believe that people have a zone of genius. And like you said, you like to talk and teach. And I think some people might have aversion from talking and teaching. So a digital marketing style might be best for them. But I also really believe that people have to understand old school marketing and they have to understand new school marketing. And they have to know that they have to do a bit of both. Otherwise, it's they're practicing for themselves and they're not practicing for their community. And I think that a lot of times chiropractors get stuck in their way of saying, I'm not going to do this, but you might like it. Or I'm not going to do it this way. And I might have had a bad experience. But the only bad experience is not helping enough people. And I really think that one of my mentors told me early on, Dr. Mike, is if you just get out of your own way, you can change the world. And I think that chiropractors need to attack the world with that same idea when it comes to marketing and strategy, that marketing first, marketing second, marketing third, marketing fourth, marketing fifth. If it don't work, hire somebody to do it for you.
Right. And that's what Dan Kennedy says. He's like, if you haven't pissed somebody off by noon, you're not marketing hard enough.
And people shouldn't want to talk to you all the time, but the ones that do want to talk to you, you should connect with them. Mm-hmm. And I think, another thing I'll share with you, I talked to this gal earlier, doesn't know me. She reached out to me. She goes, Jim, you're so on fire. What do you do to inspire yourself and keep yourself afloat during these crazy times? I go, well, one of the simplest things is if people don't connect with you, some will, some won't. So what next? And I was like, you can't save them all. And maybe you made an impression on them by not giving them the time of the day, that they're going to take more respect the next time that somebody with a position like you has. They're going to pay attention to that. And they're going to stand up and say, you know what, I need to pay attention now. Because there was somebody that was really helpful, that was pouring into me that I wasn't connecting with. So,
as you were talking, I kind of thought about this, I am a chiropractor, right? And when I say that statement, it's it almost puts a bubble around me, in that now all of my own ideas of what chiropractic is and what it's not, I'm kind of trapped by it a little bit, not trapped, but when we can be cognizant that there's ways chiropractors market, but there's many other ways that you can do it other ways. It doesn't matter, social media and there's so many different ways you can do it. Let's take advantage of all of them, because I know a lot of chiropractors think this is how chiropractors market. And so that's what they do. And I'm kind of contrarian in some ways. So I want to do it completely different ways, whatever that might look like, whatever the period of time calls for, let's do that.
Well, my message is become extremely wealthy so you can do whatever marketing strategies you want to do and you don't sink or swim on one.
Certainly. You can't just have one route, right? But you can. Well, you can't just have one route, but I guess this will be a little bit of a question for you, Jim, but find one route that works really well, double and triple down on it. Once that's delivering some great things, continue to expand. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm going to take a different angle on this, and I'm going to let people know what I would do right now in 2020 if I was a chiropractor and I wanted to attract momentum with marketing. Sure. I would do what we're doing here. I would find a dozen to 15 different leaders of businesses in my community, and I'd bring them on and interview them. I'd ask them to tell them awesome stuff about their business, how they got into it, what makes them unique in the marketplace. And then I'd ask them to share this interview that I did with them to all of their audiences. And then I would get referrals based on the relationship. And I really believe right now in our day and age that relational marketing is more important than ever. And that building bonds with people in your community makes you the go-to for not only them, but everybody that trusts them. Yes. So you're not only going to get 15 new people under care because you paid attention to them. Now their tribes that are dealing with stress and uncertainty and need some type of care, they're going to come to you. So
because now you're a celebrity, right? So there's something I had to say, but it got lost, but it'll come back if I need it.
So when you
I got it. So something you said, Jim, I think is really spot on. And I think we should all really, really pay attention to, and it's not my idea, somebody else's. And it's the idea that we're so social media driven right now, which is fine. It's great. But what that also typically means is we're lacking genuine human to human personal connection. So that's what I found to be one of the biggest shifts is it's not always so technical. Athletes know it's 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Yet we're almost all focused on mechanics, not us, but just people in general. When we can really believe certainty in your service, certainty in your message, really connect and really want to help. And instead of seeing a potential patient in front, I want to see the person, the father, the mother, the whoever. When I can connect on that level, I can heal somebody significantly more deeply and have such a impact that maybe even goes beyond just simply health.
Well, that's when it comes to CTA, which we know as in marketing world, the call to action. And that's when you do these connections with people. You say, hey, my name is Dr. Michael Hecker, and I want to be your chiropractor. And that's when people are like, that guy's certain about who he is and what he wants to do. And then you can make these connections with these people that you're this maybe it might be a digital bond like we're doing with you right now. But I guarantee you when I see you in person, it's going to be that much greater of a physical bond when we get a chance to meet. So when you get a chance to actually interact with people in your community, you might go there and do like a cookie drop, and you're like, hey, I got these paleo cookies for you and your team. I love you guys. If you guys ever need to come in and get checked, my name is Michael Hecker and I'm your chiropractor. This is how you get in touch with me. Send your friends and family. They're all going to be raving fans before you know it. And you kind of pre-frame people into that, and they're going to know that that's their takeaway from meeting you, because they met a man that was on fire, that was there from give, love, serve. And that's the other part of chiropractic that I didn't mention earlier. Is you guys are servants, man. It's a big heart. It's big hands. It's healing hands. It's healing hearts. And it's not only about the body, it's about the whole like connection, like you're saying. It's connecting your hands and someone else that never gets touched. And I think that that's one of the greater truths about chiropractic is it's a touching, healing art. And what you said was you have to connect with people. Mm-hmm. Connection is connecting of ions. And I think that when we think about breaking that word down, connection, we think about how can chiropractors connect themselves to their community. And community, if you break that word down, you're going to realize that there's some really things that are important about union. And when you think about ion and union, now you were talking about something that's really important, which is connecting the power of the ion with the union of the community. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's some really small things that when we say words, what they mean, and what we have to distill out of them. So I think we're spot on, man. You being the servant that you are, you're going to change people's lives, brother.
And when you were going through your mock little just off the cuff kind of thing, I noticed something interesting. And it was, I started paying attention to your words, but then I slowly shifted away from your words. And I noticed I started to move to my heart more. I started to be like, oh, it's like, I don't know what he's saying, but this just feels really good. And like, if you'd say, come on in, I'd say, okay. I don't know any details, but I was like, my heart, it was like, yeah, okay. This feels right.
Because I'm on purpose, brother.
Yes. Hey, I can tell. All the way from Wisconsin.
And I'm fired up, man. Like that's the thing about what it's about for me. And that's what me building a team with the greatest profession on planet Earth was all about, was to be a charismatic leader for the people that were busy in the trenches, man. And that's why we get a chance to connect with you for this podcast interview, and you get a chance to be our guest and share people to our audience and our tribe about what you're doing, who you are. And now you're going to be able to share this narrative to 15,000 people when they listen to our show. So it's pretty rad.
Wow. That's amazing. I haven't reached 15,000 people in a while.
So when you're not in your office taking care of patients, what kind of books do you like to read? What other podcasts do you listen to? And what are some of your hobbies?
Okay. So my hobbies, let's start there. Honestly, let me say it this way. As I grew up, I always liked video games. My favorite video games was like your video game character would like level up and then he'd get a new power, a new skill. He'd level up again, he'd get a new power, a new skill. So I got really excited about that idea. And I didn't realize this till like many years later, but I kind of flipped it. I was like, let me learn a new skill so I can level up. Let me do, that's why I have all those books there. That's why probably the top 2 rows, they're all about like mindset and persuasion and the power of thought and the power that we internally have. And so I don't know if that makes me a nerd or really cool or really powered up or leveled up, but those things are really exciting to me. So I do that. But if you want something more out and about, when I'm not boxing people, actually I stopped that, but I do salsa and bachata. So some Latin dancing, it keeps me active. I get to meet a lot of people and it's a great time. So now podcasts. Well, when I'm not watching Chiro Hustle, of course, when somebody, I see those names, I'm like, man, that's a good one. I got to get on there. I get on there. I got to watch it, but then I'll be on there. The big thing is it depends. I always listen to who I'm drawn to in that moment. There's times where I'm just hammering home Dr. Pete's stuff, watching the same videos over and over and picking up those nuances. And every time I go back, I'll get a level deeper. Other times it's like, if I want to work on more of my mindset stuff, I might throw on like a Jordan Peterson just the way he thinks. If I want to be a little bit more fired up, maybe I'll throw on a Gary Vaynerchuk. If I want, so it's kind of like, it's depending on what I need for the day. That's where it's going to draw me towards what I'm focusing on. Because I want those, it's like, if I need more certainty or confidence, I'm going to listen to things. I'm going to talk to people and watch shows that give me certainty and confidence and any other quality, right? That's how I choose to see the world.
Well, you said something there that was really cool. And this is a Grant Cardone quote. People will do more for a game than they will for work. So if you can add gamification into your motivation, you're going to actually have more fun, which we talked about earlier, when you have more certainty, and you're going to be able to level up quicker. And people that don't have fun, they don't stick with stuff. So when you can wind in and circle up learning with fun and leveling up, now you've gamified becoming a master.
Yeah, you know what? We should just normalize that. That's what we should do, Jim. We should just normalize it, saying, like, of course, like people come in and, I tell them right in like the first visit, let's say they just have, knee pain and they're thinking about getting surgery. So I'm like, all right, we're going to do X, Y, Z. And I was like, I expect by the end of this, you're going to be doing great. You're going to, and then their knee does get good. And then they're like, great, I'm so happy. This is such a miracle. And I'm like, this is amazing, but it's not a miracle. It's not a miracle for your knee to feel normal. It's not a miracle to not be in pain. Yes, it's glorious. It's awesome, but this is how it should be. Because here's my favorite, one of my favorite new things that I heard about. It got re-triggered in my mind was this actually comes from Sav Ovens, a marketer, a brilliant marketer. And he had this line saying that we don't become our highest ideals of ourselves. We become our lowest expectations. So it's like anyone can have a big, beautiful dream, but when you can say like, I will not accept this, that's when you change. That's when you do that little level up. We have to raise our minimum standards. We don't need to, anyone can say, oh, I want to own the, New York Jets. That's whatever.
But Michael, that's why people think I'm crazy, because I never settle for it. I'm always looking for how can we do better? How can we build a better unity with people? How can we distill more out of our connections? How can we do something to expand this message of chiropractic even bigger and faster? And I think that that's why what we're doing is so damn powerful. What you're saying is because we don't settle. The reason that we're lapping the game is because we want people to know about what you do. And we find it that important and that vital to the transformation and development of this country and this world that we're tireless about it. Right. And I think that that's really what you're saying is if you want to resign yourself to mediocrity, you'll have mediocre people, mediocre relationships, and a mediocre job. But if you want to learn that mediocre is for everybody else, and if you want to do better, then the world is yours.
Right. And you got to look at your non-negotiables, right? Chiro Hustle for you. If I would say, hey, I'll give you 80 grand a year, you just can't do Chiro Hustle. You'd say, not a chance. It's a non-negotiable for you. And that's why Chiro Hustle is blowing up. That's why, that's one of the reasons why you're probably so on fire, or maybe you're on fire. That's why it's a non-negotiable. However that works, it's not even a question. It's even if you're not in the mood, you still do it because it's a non-negotiable. And I think when you can lift that up, it's a wrap. It's just a matter of time. That's it.
So what are some websites or social media resources where people can look you up and see what you're all about?
So I'm currently most active on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, actually. And so that'll just be my name, Michael Hecker. I do have some YouTube channels and different things, which I should probably be using more, especially because I love to be in front of the camera. But, I can't do everything at once just yet. So there's that. And then there's my website if you want to learn a little bit more about what I do, the zones, you can get a peek of what that looks like, some testimonials from some people saying, here's their story. And that's going to be at drmichaelhecker.com. So that's DR and then my whole name.
Well, Michael, today was brilliant. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for your time. And I know that this is going to be a dynamic time capsule of knowledge for people to tap into. And as Luke and I always say, thank you for being our guest today.
Yeah, Jimmy Luke, I appreciate it very, very much. I mean, I had a blast. I was really happy when I saw this in my schedule. I was like, yeah, I get to see people, and that's amazing. And I also get to be here. I was like, today is going to be a good day. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing for the profession, helping all these small businesses. Think about how many small businesses, and there's a family connected to that small business that you've been able to help. So thank you guys for what you're doing. Keep on doing it.
Well, like they like to say, Zonies are my homies. So we're always happy to talk to someone in the School of Zone Techniques.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, whenever you come into town in Milwaukee or Chicago, come see me.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for being our guest today. We want you to have a phenomenal rest of your day and go save some lives.
Yes. All right, guys. Take care. Appreciate it.
See you.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.